Every day you wake up, go to work, buy groceries, pay rent, maybe grab a cup of coffee, and feel like your money just doesn't stretch the way it used to. Prices are rising everywhere. But your paycheck? It's standing still. This isn't just a feeling. It's the silent cost of inflation, a force slowly draining your wallet, reshaping the economy, and making you poorer without you even realizing it. Today, we'll uncover how inflation really works, why everything is getting more expensive, and what you can do to protect yourself before it's too late. Inflation isn't just a number you hear in the news, like, inflation rose by 6% this year. Inflation means that the same dollar buys you less than before. It's the slow erosion of your money's value over time. If a loaf of bread cost $1 in 2000 and $2.50 today, that means the value of your money, not just bread, has dropped. Every year, the prices of goods and services rise, but your salary doesn't rise at the same pace. Central banks like the U.S. Federal Reserve target inflation deliberately, around 2% per year. That might sound small, but over decades, that small inflation eats away at your savings like rust on metal. But here's what most people miss. Prices don't always rise in obvious ways. Companies have found clever tricks, like shrinkflation, where you pay the same price but get less product. Your chips bag looks the same, but there are fewer chips inside. Your shampoo bottle slightly smaller. Your cereal box thinner than last year. It's a quiet strategy because if companies raised prices openly, you'd notice. Instead, they shrink the quantity and hope you won't check the fine print. The result? You're spending more for less. And when this happens across thousands of products, the real inflation rate in your daily life feels much higher than official reports suggest. Groceries are just the start. Inflation is crushing families through housing, utilities, and basic services. In many cities, the average rent has doubled in the past decade. Buying a home? Merely impossible for young people entering the market. A house that cost $200,000 in 2010 might be $450,000 or more today, while wages barely rose by 30%. That means you work twice as hard just to afford half of what your parents could. Electricity, fuel, transportation, everything follows the same trend. Inflation isn't just numbers. It's the reason people skip vacations, delay medical visits, or work extra hours just to stay afloat. If everything costs more, why don't wages rise too? Here's the uncomfortable truth. While inflation raises prices, it doesn't raise your income equally. Corporations often pass rising costs to consumers but cut labor costs to maintain profits. This means your paycheck grows slower than inflation, so even if you're re-earning more on paper, you're actually poorer in reality. According to U.S. labor data, real wages, after adjusting for inflation, have barely increased in 40 years. Meanwhile, executive pay and corporate profits have skyrocketed. This imbalance is why the middle class is shrinking, and the wealth gap is widening every year. When prices rise but wages don't, people turn to one thing: debt. Credit cards, personal loans, mortgages all become lifelines. But here's the catch. As interest rates climb to fight inflation, that debt becomes more expensive. So while central banks say they're cooling inflation, they're really squeezing borrowers. Your credit card interest doubles. Your mortgage payment jumps. Inflation and debt become two sides of the same coin. One raises your cost of living. The other traps you in endless payments. This isn't just an American story, it's global. From Europe to Asia, inflation has shaken economies. Energy shocks, supply chain disruptions, and massive government spending have pushed prices to record highs. In developing countries, it's even worse. Basic food, cooking oil, and transportation have become luxuries for millions. Inflation hits the poor hardest because they spend most of their income on necessities, the things that inflate the fastest. While you struggle to afford groceries, some people benefit from inflation. Who? Investors, corporations, and governments. Governments love moderate inflation because it erodes the value of their debt over time. Investors win too, as assets like real estate and stocks rise with inflation. That's why during inflationary periods, the rich often get richer. They own the assets that inflate in value. Meanwhile, the working class owns mostly cash, which loses value every year. Inflation isn't just economic, it's psychological. When people expect prices to keep rising, they buy more now, accelerating inflation further. Fear and uncertainty fuel a cycle where perception becomes reality. That's why trust in money, and the institutions managing it, is critical. Once that trust breaks, inflation can spiral into chaos. You can't stop inflation, but you can fight back. Invest in assets that grow with inflation. Real estate, index funds, or gold often maintain value. Diversify your income. Start side hustles, freelancing, or online work that scales with inflation. Reduce bad debt. High-interest loans kill your ability to survive inflation. Pay them down first. Budget smarter. Track your spending monthly. Cut unnecessary subscriptions. Keep learning. Financial literacy is your strongest weapon. Inflation punishes ignorance but rewards knowledge. Inflation may be silent, but its effects echo through every home, every wallet, every dream. It's more than just prices, it's power, control, and survival. So the next time you wonder why your paycheck doesn't go as far, remember, inflation isn't an accident, it's a system. And the only way to beat the system is to understand it. Subscribe for more deep, data-driven financial insights. Stay informed. Stay aware. Stay ahead.